What up, everybody? Blaze One Sports, and the draft was just a little over a day ago, so we're gonna go ahead and go over the first round of the picks. The Orlando Magic kind of shocked the world by picking Paolo Banchero with the #1 overall pick. Everybody thought it was gonna be Jabari Smith. He was the surefire, can't miss prospect. So to be honest, Paolo, Chet, and Jabari, either one of them could have went #1. They all would have been good players. They're all going to be good players, all-stars. You know, we'll see where their career goes. But those top three players, and I guess you could say maybe even Jaden Ivey, who got drafted #5 by the Pistons, those are the can't-miss guys. And that's all there pretty much was in the draft. And the rest of the draft was just like whatever. But it was pretty much those top 3-4 players, and then that was it. So Paolo going #1, you can't be mad at it because he is a really good athletic player, 6'10", 250. He's more offensive than defense, but he does play defense. He's a scoring machine. He can shoot, he can pass. So you really can't be mad at Paolo Banchero going #1 overall. But everybody thought he was going to go #3 overall to Houston, and then the last minute Vegas shifted its odds to make Paolo Banchero #1 overall draft pick. The odds were in his favor, and then he ended up hours later becoming the #1 draft pick. So Orlando Magic at the #1 spot drafting Paolo Banchero was crazy. It was kind of unexpected. Mostly almost everybody had Jabari Smith going #1. I didn't even hear of not one person picking Paolo going #1. Well, like I said, the Vegas odds shifted in his favor hours before the draft. So Orlando Magic shocked the world and picked Paolo Banchero #1. I like Paolo better than Chet Holmgren, but I would have probably went with Jabari Smith at #1. He could play the shooting guard, the small forward. You know, you could even play him small at power forward, and also at point guard. But he goes to the Rockets. So Paolo's a solid pick at #1. You can't be mad at it. It's just everyone thought Jabari Smith was going to go #1. So with that being said, Chet Holmgren goes #2 to the Thunder, like everybody thought. And then Jabari Smith goes #3 to the Rockets. He switches spots with Paolo. So Magic have the first overall pick. They shocked the world. They draft Paolo Banchero from Duke. 6'10", 6'11", 250, power forward. Next, the Thunder, with their pick, they select Chet Holmgren, center, power forward out of Gonzaga. Third, Jabari Smith. There's Chet Holmgren. Gets drafted by Oklahoma City Thunder like we thought he was going to be. #3, Houston Rockets select Jabari Smith. He was supposed to be the #1 overall pick, but he ended up going #3 to Houston. Keegan Murray goes 4 to the Kings. That pick was kind of projected. They didn't need a guard, so they passed on Jordan Ivey, and Jordan Ivey goes #5 to the Pistons. The Pacers at #6, they draft Benedict Mathurin from from Arizona. Then the Blazers, they got what some say was a steal in the draft. They drafted Sheldon Sharp out of Kentucky at #7. He's a good player, but he's still a little raw talent. Then at #8, the Pelicans draft Dyson Daniels out of the G League. His name was creating some buzz before the draft. Pelicans draft another guard. Every year, it seems like they're drafting guards with their first-round picks. Then next we got at number 9, the Spurs. They draft Jeremy Sokin out of Baylor. Spurs kind of in a rebuilding process right now. Then at number 10, the Wizards draft Johnny Davis out of Wisconsin. Number 11, the Knicks. They draft Ousmane Dieng from the New Zealand Breakers, and they trade him to Oklahoma City Thunder. The Knicks, what are the Knicks doing? The Knicks are being the Knicks, and no one knows what they're doing. Next, the Thunder draft Jalen Williams at number 12 out of Santa Clara. Jalen Williams. Next, at number 13, the Hornets draft Jalen Duran out of Memphis, and then they trade him to Detroit in a 3-trade deal. Cavaliers, they draft Ochai Agbaji out of Kansas at number 14. At number 15, the Hornets draft Mark Williams out of Duke, the center. At number 16, the Hawks draft A.J. Griffin. At number 17, the Rockets draft Tari Eason out of LSU. 18, the Bulls draft Dalen Terry out of Arizona. Timberwolves draft Jake LaVera out of Wake Forest, and then they trade him to Memphis. The Spurs draft Malachi Branham out of Ohio State. The Nuggets draft Christian Braun out of Kansas. Grizzlies draft Walker Kessler from Auburn, and then they trade him to Minnesota. The Sixers draft David Roddy from Colorado State, and then trade him to Memphis. The Nuggets draft Malachi Braun, and then out of Kansas. We already went over that one. The Sixers draft David Roddy out of Colorado State, trade him to Memphis. Bucks draft Marjon Beauchamp out of the G League. Spurs draft Blake Wesley with their second first-round pick. Actually, their third first-round pick. And then the Mavericks draft Wendell Moore Jr. out of Duke. And then they trade him to Minnesota. And then the Heat, which could be still in the draft, they draft Nikolai Jovic out of Mega Mozart. He's a real good power forward, 6'11", 220. He's versatile. He can shoot all over the court. He's a scoring machine. Can't wait to see him on the floor for the Heat. The number 28, the Warriors draft Patrick Baldwin Jr. out of Milwaukee. Grizzlies draft Ty Washington Jr. from Kentucky, and then trade him to Houston. And number 30, the Thunder draft Peyton Watson out of UCLA and trade him to Denver. So that is the first round. What do you guys think? Who did your guys' team draft? Are you satisfied with your guys' team's draft pick? My team, the Heat, I think we did good with Nikolai Jovic. Hopefully he gets playing time. He just turned 19. But I'm satisfied with that pick. I'm surprised Kai Soto Jr. didn't get drafted. So what do you guys think? Let me know what your team did in the comment section. Thoughts, comments, questions, opinions in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The NBA 2022 NBA Draft Recap. Who did your team draft? Let me know. Blaze One Sports.